or not we, you, is a thermal imaging camera. So why would we want a thermal imaging camera inside of a ghost hunt? Kason?
Because sometimes ghosts can still have thermal in them.
How so? Hot or cold?
Sometimes hot.
No, cold. Cold. So we're literally looking for cold spots with this. So this is a FLIR camera. What does that mean for you? This is what firemen use to actually help save people. Like, this is the real deal. Like, this is not a phone app. This is just an attachment for a phone. So you guys should be able to see me in there. I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. Sorry, Travis, Kason, I'm the hottest thing inside the picture right now. Aha, see why I look for the guys and see where I'm at? So bridal parties, that kills, just so you guys know. With that said, we're looking for blue and black to start moving on their own or to take shape on their own. I also have this set up to where there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. The blue dot will kind of show you, it will show you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. It's going to help direct your eye when you get this video back. So, is it always the coldest spot? I'm usually looking for about 15-degree temperature drops when I'm scanning through your video. So, again, this is already recording. Because this is such great technology and I already know where Travis works, I know he can handle this. So, Travis, this one's going to go to you, buddy. You're going to hold that horizontal just like that all night long so you can see the screen. Your hand went over the lens. Good job. Everybody does it. So you don't need to hang onto it by the camera. You'll probably, you can one-hand it, dude. Treat it just like a cell phone.
Is this, which part's the camera? This
the left-hand side for you.
Right here? Okay.
Yep. So if you hang onto it, it'll probably fall out and then the wire will hang and the whole nine.
Okay.
It's not broken, but we got to reset it. We're going to do a few starts and stops with that camera just because as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So if we record for too long, we're going to lose footage. So I'll give you the cues of when to start and stop.
Okay.
But it's always the camera on your left horizontal phone. Next camera. Let's get this crazy guy out. I like to get the cameras done and out of the way first. You're going to see that fly here real fast. So, as soon as I can dig it out of this crazy pockets. Wow, you guys are like my super attentive group where I bored you to death already. No. All this science geeky stuff, right?
Loving it.
Alright, so this guy works completely different than the one I just handed over to Travis. So what does this guy do? First off, you should not be able to see me very clearly in that very small camera. So again, it's pretty dark in there. Again, I know not very exciting, but we're going to turn on some lights. So we're working with infrared lighting here. So this is lights that we cannot see with our own eyes. The whole point of this is that we're going to be able to capture something we would not normally be able to see with our own eyes. We're using, obviously, infrared torches at the top, and then there's 4 attached to the camera. So, what is the hope here? This one actually gets an accompanying device, so I'm actually going to have Lucy and Lily. Did I have that number right? Oh, look at me go. So I'm going to have them working together. Hopefully that'll bring Lucy out of her shell. So with that said, Lily, this one's actually going to go to you. So don't be, I already got it started recording. I want to make sure that it's going to work okay. We don't have a whole lot of humidity, but sometimes it'll actually, yep, you got it. It's got a little bit of weight to it. Don't be afraid of it. You're good. Alright, so this is the accompanying item. I just like to make sure I have it within the same party. So if I skipped over your party, that's the only reason why. This is the neuralizer from Men in Black. None of you are going to remember anything by the time we're done. Aha, see, more giggles. That's why I do the jokes. Lasers. So we're going to be working with lasers on this because the camera that I just handed over to Lily can actually see these like a Christmas tree. What's the point of this? You can't see the lasers until something actually passes through it. That's the whole point. We're looking for motion to go through this. It's not always an in-the-moment type field, but the two of them working together, I'm hoping that they're going to be able to capture something together. So we're going to be using 2 different types of lasers. The second one gives us red squares. Why do we use red squares? Because in the event we capture something here, I can give you the still from the camera and put it in 3D software and give you a full 3D view of what we caught along with measurements. I've had this guy for about a year. It hasn't actually been able to take the photographs I've given it yet, so hopefully Miss Lucy over here is going to be our lucky charm. So with that said, lasers stay on the ground at all times unless I direct you otherwise. It's very busy downtown, but when you're using these, this one has a light switch, so once you turn it on, it stays on. So be careful not to move it out of whack or blind the driver. Make sure that the laser is always touching your toe. This one has a button right where my index finger is, so when that one's on, again, make sure it's touching your toe and always point it at the ground. So kind of get used to those, make sure it's both pointed down right now. Spirit boxes. Yes. Everybody wants a spirit box. It's okay, we got 6 of them. And they all do something a little bit differently. So, spirit boxes, if you're unfamiliar with them, So basically, a box is going to create white noise by sweeping through FM radio stations. So what does that do? Normally on your television shows and YouTube videos, your host will tell you what he thinks he heard in the middle of that white noise by putting it up on your screen. So we're going to be doing that in real time. However, finding a disembodied voice like what they show you on TV is a rarity. I only capture about 4 to 5 of those a year, not 12 per episode. So yeah, I'm debunking a lot of the stuff you guys see on TV already. So with these being slowed down, it's going to allow the radio chatter to come through. So DJs, song lyrics, commercials, those things will slip through, and that is what we're listening for. If we can make out what the song lyric or DJ is saying, it's a 50-50 shot. We can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history we're discussing, or even something going on with one of you. It happens all the time. So again, this one, Miss Susan, yeah, you're going to have an earbud in. So you're going to be the only one to hear it in real time. I'll be writing down whatever you hear, but this one's also recording. I'm going to spot check this recording for you tomorrow morning, give you about 15 to 25 more markers based on things that I hear. In the event I find something relevant to the person, place, or one of us, I will always give an explanation and then a link to be able to verify the information. Again, I'm not making anything up out here. It's a matter of actual research. So, with that said, your earwax is gross. I'm sorry. You get to keep these. I don't want them back. Undo your twist tie, and then your volume button is right here at the top. So, again, I'm going to turn it all the way down so you don't get blasted in the ear when you pop it in. Most people only wear one, just so you have that idea.
Find that most of the time you do that to either hear what you do.
It's based on your hearing, not mine. So it's whatever comfortability you have. I do have 2 of these, but this one's not going to record. So again, I'm going to be relying on the person in real time to be able to capture anything from this particular device. So Jocelyn, I think I'm going to go with you on this one.
Okay.
So again, your earwax is also gross. You get to keep the earbuds. Twist tie, volume is the wheel. So I'm going to turn it all the way down.
So I'll just let you know as I hear.
Yep. So I will. You guys will see. I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you. Like, hey, what have we heard? What do we got going on?
Interesting.
The next spirit box. We don't actually have to listen to it. That's the beauty of it. There's no second guessing what we actually heard or what we think we heard. So this one's going to give us words from time to time in the center of the screen. If you're familiar with the TV shows, this is going to be like the obelisk that you guys would normally see on TV. So this one has 5 times the amount of words in its dictionary. So with that said, it's going to save all of those terms and words into a list with timestamps. This is the first thing I look at when I'm going through your data, because this way it tells me where to listen to the spirit box recording, the video, so forth and so on. I'm going to clear out last night's list. They had 99 terms show up. So here's what I'm going to tell you about this word list. This is a phone app. 80% of this is going to be absolute garbage. So it's the other 20%, you're going to get the full list back, because sometimes things are relevant to you that I just don't know. That's why I give you the full list. But what is relevant, I'll give the explanation and a link to be able to verify the information. So with that said, Belly, this one's going to go to you. So I don't want to see every word that pops up, otherwise we're going to be out here till like 4 in the morning. I will come to you when I want to see the word list. If you want to check it out, it's just a little white box next to it, and then you just circle back at the top right. Nice and easy to use.
Thank you.
Let's see. This spirit box is actually an older style of a spirit box. It works the exact same way as the red ones with the earbuds. However, it's not super loud, and because it is an older school spirit box, I have a ball speaker attached to it. So, Alicia, was it? Oh, look at me. So, Alicia, this one's going to go to you. So, your volume is right here on the ball speaker. I rolled it down, obviously when I'm talking to the whole group, and you just hold it up and give it 6 seconds to get the volume.
Okay.
Part of the reason why I'm giving you an open air one is because Lily has a camera.
Yeah.
Might be able to pick up the audio in the event that you guys miss something. So we also have only audio. Let's see. Yes, I told you, I have a million spirit boxes. There we go. Kason, your spirit box is also going to be open-ended. It's going to have an open speaker to it, but it also works completely different. What it's going to do is it's going to sweep through both the FM and AM radio stations at the same time. Actually, I think I take this back. I think I want this one to go to you. Leanne, correct? So, Leanne, this one, again, AM and FM at the same time, but it's going to attempt to take out the white noise that Susan and Jocelyn are listening to. So, with that said, hopefully you're only going to hear about 10 to 12 words out of this. This thing's about 75% accurate to our location. I love this guy. Had it for a few months, it's been fantastic. The only thing you need to worry about is how to hold it. This is the face of it, where you're gonna be looking at the lights. The speaker's at the bottom. So blinking lights are at the top. On the right-hand side is a mute button. It's the only button there. I have it on mute right now, just because we're gonna be near some ponies soon. I'll let you know when it's safe to actually unmute it, and this way you guys can actually use 2 spirit boxes simultaneously. So that one goes to you. Yes. You got it.
What's your street there?
This one is literally brand new. Had it less than 2 weeks. It's got a bunch of letters on there. It's going to hopefully stop based on EMF detection on specific letters. And kind of think of this as kind of a digital Ouija board, in a sense. Again, it doesn't have anything attached to it. I say the word Ouija and everybody freaks out. So that's exactly the only description I can have for this guy, but it's going to be based off of any EMF that's going to be around us. So it's going to stop on letters. Hopefully we're going to get anagrams, initials. We can change it over to numbers. So we're going to be kind of playing around with this guy quite a bit. So, Anne, this one's actually going to go to you because you looked very like, oh, that's a new device. So this one, again, I'm going to turn down the sensitivity and we'll crank it up slowly if we're not getting much out of it. All right, so you guys have all seen these on your TV shows, right? So these are pretty basic things to actually have. So what this guy does is it's going to measure electromagnetic fields. Any kind of wiring, your cell phones, parking meters, that kind of thing. I use this one to debunk a lot. The reason they love to use them on TV is because we're super sensitive, and if it goes anywhere in the middle, they freak out. So again, it doesn't go very high, just so you know, as far as measurements go. But we do use these to debunk things, and because this is such a simple job, DONESSA, you're going to have 2 jobs. Yeah, you're going to be double fisted. Sorry. Have I messed up anybody's name yet? No. Got it, pretty good. I'm a writer. You're all characters to me right now. Like, that's how that goes. So, I don't normally hand this to teenagers because they don't know what the hell it is. So, it is a digital camera. Yes, that's a joke, everybody. So, hundreds and hundreds of pictures. You can take 5, you can take 500. It doesn't bother me one bit. You're going to get all of the photos back. Selfies will be deleted, so don't hand it to the girls because you know exactly what they're going to do. So, there's no flash on this, on purpose. So, when you're taking pictures, please be very still. Again, it'll look blurry if you don't, without a flash. The reason we have no flash on this is because we don't want any false positives. We don't want anything coming up where I have to send it to my wife, the photographer, and say, what the hell's going on here? And it's just a light flickering off of a windshield. So you're going to have both of these. The shoot button is the biggest one all the way to the right. If it shuts off because you didn't take a lot of pictures, it's going to shut off. The power button's right next to that. Okay. So, but again, I already have the colors memorized here, so all you got to do is let me know when you see colors.
Okay, thanks.
Kason, you get to carry the bag, buddy.
Yay.
All right. You actually are going to be my multitasker. Figured I'd keep you busy. So, this is what we call a millimeter. This device actually has 3 different functions to it. It has an EMF detector in it, just like the one I handed DONESSA, only yours is digital, and it goes way higher than 25. I've seen this guy cap out at over 200. So, again, very accurate. The bottom number, anything on the big number is above 2.5. I want to know what's going on because that should be DONESSA's second green light. So that's why I like to use them in the same units of measure. The bottom is ambient temperature. In the event that actually finds something on his camera, then you and I can debunk it or prove it because he's going to direct us on where to go. We can prove it with the little probe that's right here. The last thing that it has is a motion sensor. So in the event something gets close to this antenna that I just pulled out, it's going to go off. I'm not touching it right now. I'm touching it now. So again, I always listen for those tones, and you and I are going to talk more about the motion sensor at the first stop that we'll use it, which is 2 stops from now. For now, all I want you to do is pay attention to the numbers and let me know anything above 2.5 that pops up.
Okay, on the top?
On the big numbers, yep, the top ones.
2.5.
2.5 and higher. All right, the bag is going to be way lighter now, so thank you for that. That's awesome. Woohoo, look at that. It's like
I can
nothing.
carry that.
So, we had a group of 11. So, there's a reason why we started here, but you guys are going to make me talk all night, so I'm going to take a drink first. I'm pretty sure it is my job to talk all night, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
All right, so, Kason's in charge, guys. Go have fun. Let me know what happens. Still paying attention. Good. So, Big John's. There's a reason why we started here. Of course there is. The place is haunted. That's why we're here. Here's what goes on. first off, you should know that Big John was an actual person. He was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. I'm not a football fan. I had to memorize this crap just so I can tell it to you guys. So, whenever I'm giving you the history of a building, I'm always going to slow down on the specific keywords that I commonly get out of those spirit boxes and communication devices. I can't even call that a spirit box because it's not. It's a Ouija board. Now, the keywords here are going to be 47 New York Giants, anything relative to a ball. So here's why the place is haunted. John used to sit in the back of the place. He would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, two guys came in, they weren't old enough to drink. So he had the bartender throw them out. They were pretty pissed off, and they came back the next night and tried to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John saw what was going on, he slams down his beer, all is spilled everywhere, and he goes over and just starts beating these guys to a pulp, just pounding them right into the floor. A couple of gunshots went off during that bar fight. John got grazed in the neck, and the bullet landed behind him in the wall. John, being the only one that's been shot, gets up, goes back to the bar, and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor in ambulance. So, normally if I tell you that a building is haunted, you automatically think there's some kind of tragic death that occurred in that building. That's not the case here. Here's what's going on. The bullet hole, it's allegedly still here. I say allegedly because the renovation Big John's may have filled it in. That means that they basically just sealed in Big John's blood into the building. People that sit in the front of the bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headaches. And it comes a lot of times that I hear that from you guys before I even tell you the story. Because I send everybody the same text I sent you guys this morning, so they go eat dinner there, and then they can't finish their beautiful steak. So this is kind of your heated warning. They don't really feel well when they go there. If anybody is not feeling well during our night together, I need to know immediately. It is a very big deal to me, as you guys already kind of picked up on with me telling you I won't take people to jail. But again, we're going to be dealing with paranormal activity tonight, fingers crossed. It's still kind of coming out of a full moon phase. We're still at 97%. We never know what's going to happen. We're going to move the whole party and get that person to safety if somebody's not feeling well out there. I'm always going to blame it on weather first. In fact, most of you are on vacation. So again, not everything's going to be paranormal. Just so you guys know, I'm not that guy. I'm going to be Zach Vegas and shove you into a dark corner. So let's get our minds off our own health before we move out of this very loud noisy space. We had a big earthquake here in 1886. You guys should already know that if you already took another tour here in Charleston, because we all talk about it. It's an anomaly for us because we're not supposed to have earthquakes. We're supposed to have hurricanes. But Big John's is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see in the middle of the building broke off in the front of it. Hit somebody in the back of the head, and then killed them. And so you can see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. Now, I don't have any proof of that story, which is exactly why I said allegedly a lot. It's just a great segue, so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the floor, even though I just brought it up again. So, is everybody ready for this? Okay, Lucy's ready to go, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go.
Single file line. Okay, Dom definitely has some motor in it. Wouldn't that be fun to do, especially with the motor in it, just in cruise?
I don't know if he wants me to keep recording the whole time or stop and go. I don't know if he wants me to just continuously let it record.
I think so, yeah. And then when we said the first one was just go along and then we can ask questions.
So it's supposed to be the dark figure that you follow around town. But there's a lot of cars in here, which kind of brings me to my first point. There's three of you with cameras. We're going to be in spaces just like this, and it is a busy Saturday night, but there's going to be parked vehicles and people walking by. People don't have any idea what they're doing unless they've been on one of my tours in the past. So we are not going to be filming any vehicles for long periods of time or anybody walking by if they don't like it. Just say, imagine if it was your own car and somebody was filming it with a thermal imaging camera, wondering how long your car's been sitting there. He's going to know. So, pictures, where's my picture taker? DONESSA. So again, you could be a tourist all night long. It doesn't matter. I'll be taking pictures of somebody's license plate they get those guys off. So, alright, so welcome to the Big Red Barn Lot. We're not going to spend a lot of time here. This is just to explain your devices a little bit further now that they're inside your hands. The history here, well, first off, you need to know, like, there's horses inside that building, which is why you guys are using earbuds and you have your spirit boxes on mute. So, This is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston, 1860s to 1920s. So, keywords here are going to be delivery, milk, and eggs. Let's talk about spirit boxes first. That's kind of the majority of you, right? You have some kind of communication device. What's the first question that everybody wants to ask a Ouija board or a spirit box? You guys have seen movies. What do you know? What's the first question you want to ask? It's not school, buddy. Shout it out.
First, if it even moves, how does that even happen?
Don't know.
Don't even
Like,
move
what do you
it.
ask the ghost?
Like,
Like,
who are you?
what do you ask? What do you ask the
And
Ouija
we got
board?
who are you? What else?
Yeah.
How did you die?
How did you die? What else? Normally, is anybody here?
Yeah.
Right? It's usually the first question everybody wants to ask because a Ouija board has a yes/no option. So that's my whole point. We are not going to be asking yes/no questions all night long. The reason for that, if we say, is anybody here? And Susan hears no, that means somebody's here. Okay? So again, even if you're a skeptic and you don't believe in ghosts, you're here for some kind of paranormal proof. We're going out with the details. For example, in a space like this, when I'm teaching people how to use spirit boxes, if anybody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, we are looking and listening for the color red. I say looking because Kelly actually has a word list. She doesn't have to listen. So, but the rest of you are using song lyrics and DJs to convey messages back to us, and the word red might not be available to the ghost to use at that time. Fire truck, blood, heart. Those three things are specifically red. I would take that as an acceptable answer. However, most of the night I'm going to require that there's at least two happenings. You guys have at least 15 devices among all of you right now. So two things to go on to be able to even come close to calling it paranormal. Another example. Let's say Kelly's word list has the word art on it. That doesn't mean anything over here by itself. But then, Leanne, am I getting that right?
Yes.
So, and then Leanne here's the number 40 on her spirit box. Now together, Art and 40 is Art Faircloth, who is number 40 on Big John's team. You guys see where I'm going with this? It's going to be about piecing the clues together. This is more of an escape room than it is a ghost tour. So again, you guys are going to have more fun with it when you start thinking of it as what pieces of the puzzle do I need to piece together first. That's why you guys keep me around. I'm the outside the box thinker. So now that everybody has a better gist on their spirit boxes, just remember those of you with the noisemakers, those ones are using song lyrics and DJs. Some of you come up to me and say, oh, all I'm hearing is radio stations. If you hear buy a Kia today and welcome to Charleston, I want to know that you heard buy a Kia today and welcome to Charleston. Because the word buy might actually be relevant to our space. If you hear the song drop it like it's hot, I want to know that you heard drop it like it's hot. That's kind of the mentality that we're going after with these. Just whatever you hear, no matter how silly you think it might be. Cameras. We're going to start with Travis.
Yep.
So you're going to try to do two things throughout the entire night. I know I told you not to film people walking by, but I do want you to try to keep one of us in view.
Okay.
The reason for that, we're the warmest thing out here, our skin tone. It's going to give you the array of colors so we can spot the cold spots a lot easier. The slower the movements, the better. You're also going to try to keep the sky out. There's no surface on the sky. The blue dot will go to the sky every single time if it's in view. Some places that's going to be impossible. Just do your best.
All right.
You too. Shine one of your lasers down for me. Perfect. So, if you are a civilian, when you're filming it, you literally want to take like a step or two back, and you want to be filming through. So we're looking for things up here. We're not going to be pointing down at it. You're very much the green dot on the ground. When you're filming, the two things are almost going to be like moving in unison, so that way you can actually see any movement that's going to be coming through here. Now, if you want to use those together, so you can, but you want to keep them side by side. Don't cross the streams. Nobody got my Ghostbuster joke?
Yeah.
Ah, somebody got it. Good. Perfect. Let me see. Right up to these two side by side.
Does it stick on the station when it catches something?
Just flips. Across the stream, just up one time. So the other thing with your camera is that it will pick up orbs. So again, I've caught plenty of orbs with that camera. So just kind of keep that in mind too. I'm not just watching the lasers when I'm reviewing your video. I'm looking for anything that's out of place. And we'll debunk a lot of bugs for us throughout the entire evening, just so you know. I think the only other person I really need to work with is going to be Kaysen at our next space. So have you had any letters show up at all yet?
F and H.
F and H. Any numbers show up on your device, Kaysen?
I got it to 1.6. I got like this, went right up to the mark. Well, not right up, but I went like that, and it spiked right from 0 to 1.6.
Okay, so again, that's going to be natural from the Earth. Anything up to 1.1, that's why I say 2.5 and higher. And we're going to talk more about that. Any colors show up on yours before we leave? All right, and any words show up on yours now?
Does Democrat count?
did.
It's a possibility because of our next space. Again, we're going to see a little bit of bleed over. We're right next door to where we're going. So again, it's a great possibility. So I'll have to dive into it. All right, I say we get away from football players and ponies and go dive into some real history. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Right? All right, let's do this. We're going to go this way. Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
I noticed it's so weird. Anybody, anytime, any person. You notice anytime you get to a car or a person, they seem to almost spike up.
Small the horses.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Court order.
Mm-hmm.
Court order.
Travis, do me a favor.
Yep.
With your camera, hit that orange square, and then give. They're probably going to be a little bit off of where we just were.
Okay, it's back on now.
Perfect. All right, everybody, welcome to your true first space. You made it to a parking lot. Congratulations.
Yay!
So, why are we here? This space used to be something. This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion site. So the layout of the land is pretty simple. The mansion sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home back here. So the reason I bring us back here is because I noticed a couple of cars are getting ready to leave. This is the only entrance and exit. And again, with it being a Saturday night, we're going to be kind of limited on space of where we can actually go. So we're basically going to be back here and then amongst, like, right up to the edges of those cars. So it's going to limit our space.
Oh.
So, who the heck were these people? Oh,
What?
spirit boxes. Yes,
Mine
sir.
just spiked up to 2.6 and then it went down.
That's why they call it ghost hunting. They never stand still. So 2.6, I'll definitely be writing down. So, spirit boxes. I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the red barn. You will be getting the answers from your spirit boxes, and I will be withholding information on purpose. So that way everybody here has a genuine experience and you're just not getting subliminal messages. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you guys are all here. Perfect. So, Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's three
Oh,
different
I just got
Charleses.
2.7.
Okay,
Again.
so hang on to those numbers for me. So
Okay.
the 2.7 is good, but we're going to escalate them as they go up. So that way you're not telling me like 5 and then 2, then 6, then 3. That way we can escalate them up. But that's 3 different Chucks, right? So we need to know which one we're chatting with, which is why I always look for those secondary verifiers that I talked about over there with Art and 40. So now that you guys have the gist of that. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a pretty big deal for us, but I hate politics. And we're going to move on to Eliza. She has a much better story anyway. So that's why when you guys said Democrat, I'm like, okay, I don't know, because I have to look that up. So again, that's when you guys have to teach me something, and I got to go do some more research. Eliza married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. I say that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers from colonial times of when she came, like 12 and 14. You're going to hear numbers according to today's standards. The other reason I bring that up is because Charles, her husband, was over doubled her age. Kind of a creepy age gap back then, definitely a creepy age gap now. So just kind of keep that in mind when you guys are going to be asking those questions. But she married him because her father, who was over in England, that's where she's from, thought he was dying, and he's trying to bring all of his kids home. She didn't think he was dying, so instead she got married. 1744. You don't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love, so don't poke the bear about some kind of affair, because it never happened. A lot of people like to do that. But at any rate, she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. Now, indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. So some of you are probably wearing it tonight. I didn't even look. None of you are wearing it tonight. Well, oh, sorry, Jocelyn's got it on. So, but when Eliza got it, she didn't know what to do with these seeds. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated.
Yeah,
It's not always hot here. So once she had it figured out and she experimented with it here, she moved it to another plantation just south of here, made it a huge cash crop. She calls her father up over in England, not really because it's 1750s, and she says, the rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with the indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is something absolutely unheard of. So obviously you guys can see why the other ghost tours won't come here. There's nothing to see. So let's investigate by using very specific questions. If you go rogue, I am going to go around the room and kind of assign questions. You can go rogue, just make sure it's something we can prove. If you're going to stick to the slaves, I can't prove any of it. There are no records of the Pinckney slaves. Fair enough. So with yours, I noticed you guys were talking. You said you didn't get anything yet other than F and H.
Yeah.
The button underneath the red light, turn it clockwise, about a quarter turn. That's the sensitivity for the EMF. So Susan, with your device, you have a spirit box, a specific type. So we're going to give you the children questions. You can ask Eliza how many children she had and what their names were, but that's all. The reason telling her that's all is because there's a tragedy among those kids. Don't poke the bear with this one. All activity will stop, including the small EMF that Casey's getting. And we're all going to know it's you that was poking the bear. So, it's a joke. With yours, because we're still experimenting, I just want to kind of see what starts to pop up. I'm hoping for initials if you want to try to get Eliza's initials out of it. So that'll be first and foremost. Alicia, yes. No. Remember, she will not have a number like colonial time ages. Alicia, yours is difficult to hear, so I'm going to give you simple ones with simple answers. Okay. So the mansion's not here anymore. What happened to it, and when did that happen? So again, very specific dates, numbers, months. We're going to be looking for a lot of clues out of that. With yours, Eliza's death. Anything you want to. How old she was, where she's buried, what she died from, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So, yeah, what she died from, her age when she died. Again, just think of all the questions you would ask around somebody's death. Most people focus...
just think it or actually, like...
Whatever you're comfortable with. Some people are comfortable focusing on one question to see what they get. Some people like to speak out loud. It's just a matter of whatever your comfort level is. Next spirit box, what do we have here? So with yours, Leanne, yes. I'm going to have you focus still on the mansion questions because yours only usually gives us 1 to 2 syllable answers. The mansion questions, what happened to it? When did that happen? Kelly, you have a fun one. So Eliza that we just talked about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. Same year. The first wife died in January. He married the one we talked about in May, 5 months later. They're both named Eliza. So, Travis, look at that however you want to. You're the only guy here. It's really dumb or really smart. So, again, just however you want to go. However, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Figure out which Eliza we're dealing with by asking her maiden name. I'll also kind of let you focus on the marriage answers too. So how old she was when she got married, or how old Charles was, how many years they were married. Just focus on the marriage, and then of course which Eliza it actually was. Anybody else have a spirit box? No, that's an EMF detector. Yeah, you won't get answers out of that.
Okay, taking pictures.
Yes.
Taking pictures.
Taking pictures and giving me colors.
Okay.
All right, so again, with those of you with cameras, when people are walking to their vehicles, you go the opposite way, just like what's actually going on right now. They have no idea what the hell we're doing out here. A lot of people like to stop and ask, what are you doing in my car? But I am going to keep Kason behind so I can show him more about that motion sensor, and then I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you, seeing what's going on with your devices, seeing if I can help piece the puzzle together. Remember, if you're asking questions, those answers can go anywhere. The audio pieces on the videos, my audio, or anybody else's spirit box or communication device. So we literally have about 9 pieces of answering questions where it can actually go. But again, I give you the focal points on each one because I know your spirit box's capabilities. So let's spread out into space. So Travis and Kason, if you guys 3 just want to stick with me so I can show him how to use that device. Yep. And I'll be bouncing on with all of you. As far as the lasers go,
should I just like write stuff down?
No, I'll be, like, if you can try to remember it, I'm pretty quick with bouncing around. Okay. I'm going to be writing it down. With lasers, just so you know, keep them off the vehicles as well. So I think you already got that point, but I'd like to reiterate it. Make sure it stays on the ground. But you guys got this. Nice, slow movement.
Just to let you know, I did get 7.9 at a certain point.
Well, it went
so
up
at
to
this point, I don't want to know anything below 7.9.
Yeah, and then it went to 9.8.
9.8 is what it spiked up to highest.
So 7.9 and 9.8.
Yep.
So at this point, don't tell me anything below 9.8.
Okay.
See why I want to escalate it? Otherwise, I'm just going to be writing down a trillion numbers. Wait, I got to show you how to use that motion sensor.
Yep.
Sure.
So, now that you've seen some numbers go through and you got the antenna up, which is good because that's the motion sensor. Turn the device around. So there's a little flap. You're going to lift it up this way, and there's going to be 2 buttons underneath it. The one on the right is the one you want. Press it into the device. Perfect. So what you just did was you put another EMF field around the antenna. It's going to go off every time you move, just like it just gave you 2 little tiny green blips. Yep, and it's super bright. So every time it moves and gives you a color, there's a button right where your thumb is. There's 4 buttons on the side there. Find the bottom on the side over here.
Very bottom?
Yep. So you want to kind of keep your thumb there. Every time it goes off, click it and release it. So that way it resets the antenna. If it gives him the same color, we can omit that it came from him.
Okay.
So again, if it goes blue, stop, click the reset button. If it goes back to blue, it's not you. It's more than likely some kind of entity getting close to your box.
But when it just went all the way to blue when it shined my eyes at first.
Yeah, because you moved it really fast.
Because you moved it. Yep.
So again, that's why we try to omit your movements. The other thing you can try to do is try to ask Eliza for a color. If she wants to show you the color blue, say, hey Eliza, can you make it go to blue? And if you get a blue, click the reset button and then ask for a different color. So you have blue, yellow, purple, red, like there's all kinds of colors in there. So ask for a different one that kind of verifies that they're responding directly to him.
Right.
So again, that's the whole point.
Okay.
He's got an 8.6, I can see. If that thing starts hitting triple digits, like over 100, and you kind of need to know immediately, like it's a big deal.
Okay.
So like it's almost like a dangerous level.
Oh, wow. All right.
I've seen it in this space plenty of times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if we're going to get it on a Saturday.
Oh, there we go.
Click it.
Click it.
There you go. Oh, it actually did go back to blue. Eliza, can you make it go to purple? Click the reset. Is he sensitive to light?
No, I don't think so. Not too bad.
But that's the exact type of reading I would be looking for.
Okay.
He clicked it and it still went back to blue.
Right. So now we're looking.
The colors and the numbers don't work together. They work independently. So he can have colors and no numbers, and vice versa.
And vice versa. All right.
So,
if you can hear me, can you turn it to blue?
yeah, there's a lot going on with that device. I figured it would keep him busy.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm writing stuff down just because I don't find
I'll break down what's relevant because you're already getting the gist of it.
Did you hit the reset?
Because it's so quick and it's kind of muffled. What are you guys doing? And I feel like I lose track if I don't write down.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else relevant.
Shoot.
I like.
Blue?
I have questions. Why up
3 times.
Why are you being so dramatic when the light comes on, like it's blinding?
Yeah,
Like
water,
you
I
just.
heard water, then apple.
It's right.
Apple?
Yeah.
Especially when you
Yes.
can you turn it back
Yeah,
to blue,
I was
Liza.
going down the street.
See? Wait
Oh.
till we all know those
Oh.
things.
Yeah.
Liza, can you turn it back to green? Oh my god. Oh. It's going. Right here is the spot. It keeps going off right here in front of me.
All right, I'm gonna put this on you and see if we can find.
Elisha, if you can hear me, turn it to blue, please. Elisha, if you can hear me, can you please turn it to yellow? Or that. Elisha, if you can hear me, all I want is just blue. Okay? Anything? So
I gotta make sure this is recording.
I'm excited about growth, but again, I'm not going to call it evidence until we have something else to verify that. So, but again, I'll highlight it in your notes, but again, it's for you guys to continue with your discoveries. So that's the whole point of it.
Am I recording right now? I know.
Yes.
I see the numbers.
Don't worry
but
about the
I'm moving.
numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, it usually means that you moved the camera and it went back to the
Okay.
widescreen portion of it,
All right.
and you just jostled it. As long as that orange square.
Perfect. Oops, excuse me.
Elisha, can you turn it green if you can? Turn it blue if you can hear me. Elijah, if you can hear me, turn it at least yellow.
You look like an alien on this, Kason.
Alien?
Yeah.
Should I be telling him that's been going off like this? Oh, Elijah, if you can hear me, turn it blue and tell me it's okay. Oh, what? Check around me real quick. My thing started beeping off like crazy. Elijah, if you can hear me, turn it to blue. Oh? Oh? Is that it? If you can hear me, turn it to blue once more, please. Oh?
Are you hitting the reset each time like you said?
Yep.
Okay. I don't see anything going on around you on this. I gotta check other people too, Kason. You look like an alien too.
Okay.
The car coming.
Who is your pallbearer? Should I ask questions?
Who's what?
I'm asking this lady questions through the thing. This is the things I've heard so far.
Alright, what do we got going on now?
Let's see, where was that? I think that's where you left
Yep.
it.
Car, it's about damn time. Description. This price is in the USA. It could be relevant to the Indigo, but I can't prove it. Don't know where to look. 89. I'm gonna write down 89 because that is a possibility.
That's the only number I've heard besides like third.
We got like weird things going on right now. Like I'm trying to piece some of it together. The word zinc showed up on the little Ouija board thing. So like it actually spelled it out, Z-I-N-C.
Okay.
So I'm gonna dive into that and see if that's
that'd be
actually relevant
interesting.
to her death. So it's a very weird thing. We also have things bleeding over from Big John's. We have the word throat, we have the name Johnny. So I'm kind of waiting for his jersey number or something else relevant to
All right. Cool.
So again, it's very, like this is why I bounce around. Let you guys kind of give me the small pieces and I'll piece them
He
all
was
together.
around way after her though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're talking 1700s here and we're talking 1960s over there.
Okay.
So
So much different stuff going on.
Oh, okay, I just have a new reading.
What do you got?
20.1.
how much?
20.1.
That's the highest one yet, right?
Yeah. It was right from here. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, that's why they call it ghost hunting. You're not going to stand still.
Moving on me. Wait, one more time. That's not me. Thanks. I almost hear like oatmeal. I hear Have you heard oatmeal? Because I kind of hear it.
enough to show me you guys know what you're actually doing out here. So, Casey, come on, we're gonna go to the back.
Oh.
Smile came together.
So if you can look through the letters and like, I don't know if I don't know what to expect yet. Am I gonna get just initials? Am I gonna get anagrams? The word zinc is probably the first spelled out word I've actually seen on there. So again, here's what I'm excited about, just so you guys know. We do have a pretty high reading on Payson's device. It does fall into the average baseline, where he also had a motion, and I'm going to kind of go through what these numbers actually mean. But we also have the word throat. It showed up on Kelly's word list, and then somebody else heard the name Johnny. I just told you about Big John, who got shot in the neck while he was in a bar fight with some cadets. So again, I'm excited about those two kind of matching up together. You guys gave me a couple of weird numbers. 89 and 29 both showed up. I don't have anything on that in the top of my brain. But again, I'm going to definitely dive in to see if something else matches up with that. The 89 specifically, there's probably nothing with the 29, but the 89 is a weird number. I think that's pretty much the only things that I was like, yeah, check that out. The word zinc was spelled out on the little Ouija board device. So again, the very first time something's ever actually been spelled out over there, we had in the garden. So who heard in the garden again? So where were you exactly? Up at the front? So I was wondering if you were actually in where the garden would have been.
I was kind of like in the middle over there.
Okay.
I had tools.
Tools. Well, yours is writing them down for me. I don't have to write yours down because I just copy and paste those. All right, so let's kind of go through these answers. Those of you with video cameras, go ahead and stop your videos. Give your hands a break. So you got it. Look at.
So we got in the alley. I didn't know. If
Yeah,
this
we're
was,
in the alley.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a certain time you wanted me to start
No,
it.
not
Okay.
at all. It was a matter of like when we turn the block. Good.
I'm getting I'm creating the card.
Is this staying steady, like what we saw back in Pinckney, or is it just kind of flipping up?
When I first came over here, it was fine, and then it came up to that. Now it's staying steady.
Because again, our steady air, like if you're really close to that building, you might get a little bit of a green dot from time to time, or it might say steady because of electrical wiring in the walls. But if you're getting like blips of 15, like that's definitely not coming from the walls.
That's what it was.
Okay, that's good. That's actually a good sign. The next space we're going to go to is another alley. Again, we don't spend a lot of time here just because we're next to a hotel and it is considered a quiet space. I'm sure you guys have noticed I love to go where the other ghost tours don't go. So again, not a whole lot of other tours come down here. When they do, they tell you some stupid story about a voodoo hag or whatever the hell made up mythological creature they want to tell you about. Yeah, I'm giving the actual history. The next space, the alley. I can't take you all the way through it like what we're doing now. Why? I've been kicked out. You guys have all my blinky lights and noisemakers and all of that mess. So the owner of the beautiful mansion at the end of it. We are not allowed to be in residential areas. I was out of bounds. I was just a matter of getting caught. So that was my first year of doing this. Kind of played the new guy card. I'll tell you that story once we get there. We're actually going to go ahead and kill your laser at this point. So we'll see if anything pops up. Yeah, you're good if you want to shut your video off. So go ahead and keep yours on, Travis, until we exit.
Yep.
Just because we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood to get to that next alley.
All right.
And hopefully from that alley, again, we're going to be stirring up the activity by telling the history of that place outside of it. You're going to see other tours go down there. We're only allowed to go down halfway. I'll explain more once we get there. However, that alley is really close to our ending point, which, wow, that was weird.
Yeah, you saw that too?
Yeah.
It just like blinked and
3.2, 3.3 right now.
yeah, I just started like blinking like drrr.
Kind of almost like the same readings you're getting over there. Flickering green. But that alley's... What's that?
That means somebody's here.
It's a possibility, but he's also very close to that light over there. So with it flickering like that, it's very temperamental. So it's a matter of, I don't know, I've never seen it do that in this space before. So I am going to take a note of it. But we did have that 15 that came out of, DONESSA. So
I just got 3.
3.
And lover.
Leather?
Lover.
Lover.
Why would you write here? It was like just on
Is it okay to like walk around in here and see?
Yeah, we can check it out for a few more minutes if you guys want. You guys are all getting towards and turned at this point, which is good. Just got a yellow reset. Close to the wall, you got something?
Right here, just a tree for a second there.
take a peek at it, see if I can make an anagram out of it. Let's see if I can use my degrees for something good. Yeah, I see that. Again, they don't know how to use this guy yet. It's almost like I'm training the ghost on how to use it. So again, that's why I'm not like assigning questions to this device yet. So why? Let's get this. Ben or John, can you tell us what year you lived here? I heard natural. Give us what year you lived here. Wait, gotta know. It was 1801. Can you stop on the 1 to complete the year that you lived here? Back to 4 again. So that's 404. It's like an HTTP error. 404, right?
Right.
Can't find this webpage.
Yeah.
Alright. Take you back to the levels. I am going to clear it though, because you got a lot in here. Alright. So, when we go up to that next alley, we're going to see all those other people. We're just going to stay out of their way, and I'll position everybody again. Remember to catch your video as we exit.
Okay.
Alright, let's do this.
Wildfire.
Alright, we're going to roll up to the next alley. Get a better session done with you.
Wildfire, cold sail.
You guys can go around. I'm just staying right here. Because right here is spooky as hell. So I feel like, oh yeah, points my signal. As soon as I point at it, it goes 8.6. Oh, how funny! They point at the gravestone.
You're moving it fast too. That's why it's going off.
I'm barely.
But he said no quick movements. Hmm. Oh. I heard something.
I know. It's
Didn't make
there
out
for
what-
a second and it's gone.
Yeah, I didn't make out what it said though. So we're gonna.
Yeah. That was 2 jingles.
That was CCR.
Yeah. Baby fly or something. I'm getting worse.
Why things been going off like crazy? I'm barely even moving.
Did you get filmed? We did. So again, just kind of be very discreet on it. You're perfect if you learn to keep it that way. Just kind of angle it up a little bit so we don't have all sidewalk. You got it. And Travis is like, screw it. I'm a vlogger. I'm the biggest guy here. I'll take anybody out.
They ain't gonna find it.
I know, right? So, duels. We all tell the same story, but I'm going to tell it to you a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. Again, you need different details than the campfire style ghost story. So, here's how this one goes. Dr. Ladd moves down here from Rhode Island. His full name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves here because his fiancée Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda, get rid of this doctor guy. To prove that he's not after her money, he comes down here to Charleston. He's going to start his medical practice and prove that he's not after her cash. And as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston, but somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stopped on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. RI will show up here quite a bit for your regular spirit boxes, and I'm hoping with the new...
Yep.
You got it already?
Rhode Island,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, so you guys are teaching me spelling now. This is cool.
Before they said anything about cash, I got cash back.
I'll be writing that one down. I want to see what comes out of this Rhode Island piece. But anyway, RI shows up here quite a bit. We just never know how. Hopefully it's going to be through the new envelope. Now, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. There's a gunman inside. I know this guy. He's got you set up. He's going to try to take all your cash. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can actually stay with them, and you'll be safe and good to go. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer, and him and Ralph become friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he starts to make. His medical practice is taking off. He's proving his point. Amanda's moving down soon. He now becomes known as the Whistling Doctor because he makes a lot of money, and his fiance is getting the point. Now, every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. I'm going to tell you that right now. Every single one of them. However, I actually have proof, and I don't say that because you're on my tour. Again, it is one of those pieces. We're going to talk about that in a second. But him and Ralph go see plays together. But they cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. It's just the way the hierarchy works. They go see Richard III one night, and they're walking home talking about the new actress that was in the play. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. They start arguing, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island, and it gets pretty ugly. They go their separate ways. What do you have? Ralph is from here. Yeah, that's why I take the street side every single time, guys. Ralph is from here, so he has friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. This disgrace to society kind of mentality. You get the point. Dr. Ladd sees the ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all. Kind of a bold move. So they come down, they take the 10 cases, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the phone. Which is often what happened at a duel, by the way, for those of you that don't know anything about dueling. But Ralph, he has this one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. The doctor doesn't die either. He drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, and they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember, this is doctor. While they tried to bleed this out, it was like, the campfire ghost story part of this is that they say as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. What's odd about us standing over here, those spirit boxes will pick up songs with whistling in it, or the word whistle will pop up all the time lately. It seems like the past 2 months, I've been getting more and more of it. Like the Guns N' Roses song Patience with all the whistling in it. The new Maroon 5 song Moves Like Jagger, whistling in it. We'll only get the whistling portion of it for a split second while we're standing out. I used to take my teams all the way through there. It was all about listening through the regular audio for those whistles. And if you're going to try this by using the voice recorders on your phone, I'm going to warn you that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street on the other side is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. After we're done at that corner, my garage is right there. I have to pass the alley, and I do it every single night. I do have some that I can't debunk, but they also say you can hear gunshots while you're down there. I have no proof of any kind of gunshots whatsoever. Here's the fun part of the story. You guys now see how large those other groups are?
Yeah.
I see everybody's eyes looking away from me. I'm like, wow, there must be a group behind me. This alley didn't come all the way through. At one point, before it was Dueler's Alley. It's where they actually kept the livestock in the city of Charleston. So, it used to be called Cow Alley before that. Yeah, so we do get the word cow from time to time, even on the word list, so it does show up. But anyway, that means the bricks on the other side, near Queen Street, are older than the bricks on this side, on Cumberland Street. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. We have one full handprint from a slave child and fingerprint swipes on the left-hand side of the alley if you're walking from this point down. Everybody wants to try to get a reading from those bricks. Everybody does. However, that brick is just like a grave. The kid is not staring at that damn brick in the afterlife. However, November 26th, 2020, my entire group decided they're going to huddle around that brick. They're going to get a reading, a spirit box, an EMF detector, something. It's outside the window of a gentleman's dining room window of his beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. He was not very happy with me because, yes, I was out of bounds. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at by the new neighbor. So she was 12 or 13 at the time. But at any rate, we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour that night because I worked in retail for over 20 years. You can understand why I took Thanksgiving off. Most of you probably go shopping on Thanksgiving. So, with that said, I got a phone call the next day, November 28th of the same year. The tourism office called me, asked me to reroute my tours or to go down halfway like everybody else. So I decided, not fair to you guys, we're going to reroute. But I didn't want to tell the story that I had to tell them that night because the next base is a pirate story. I'm a vampire guy. I'm not into pirates. I even told my team, I don't believe in this story, but we're going to see what happens if we wing it. Tickets were much cheaper back then. I can't wing it anymore. getting new to that guy. But anyway, before we leave, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I was like, okay. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating female pirate Anne Bonny. When we got up there and I told what little bit I did know about pirates, somebody else hears the number 300. I didn't know what it meant until I researched it the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720.
Oh.
We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her trial. So, I keep taking you guys back up there in hopes that we're going to continue to capture evidence. However, what I'm going to tell you about this space is because, again, not a pirate person. I've read more books and watched more damn documentaries trying to put together pirate lore for a factual tour as much as I possibly could. You're going to learn a hell of a lot about pirates that you may not have known in the past. But I will tell you it is a hit or miss location. We either get a ton of evidence, like what we had at the Pinckney Mansion site. That was what I considered a very heavy amount of evidence, for starters, in real time. Or we're going to get nothing. Just how that space works. It is kind of a crazy space. Didn't somebody hear baby girl, by the way?
I did.
You did. We're going to talk about that baby girl once we get up into that space, because we're going to be closer to it. So again, it's a very interesting space. Again, it's a crazy story. If anything else, you're going to learn a lot about pirates. It'll be a full-blown, open-wide investigation like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. So we're going to stay out of the way of the other tours. So just kind of follow my lead. We're going to go back to an ivy wall that way I can give you guys the history before we spread out. So we're going to let these folks pass, and then we're going to actually move to your right. So do you have anything else? Anybody hear anything? See anything?
Of
course, Jocelyn's got her list.
I heard Comfy Road. This is Love, Shelter, and Broadcasting. I don't know if that means anything.
Nothing of relevance that I know of.
I got company and brick.
You heard brick? No. Well, company was actually heard by both of them.
Yeah.
That's interesting. People are going to be coming to their cars. This is about the time that they start pouring out of here, which is why I pulled us all the way over here to the corner. Susan, did you get anything on yours? Nothing along the way? Where's our word list? Where do we have that at? Who's got the word list?
Me?
Yes. Sorry. You're in my peripheral. Right. I missed you.
Kid, loud, expression, founder, beast, fisherman, hail, stream, propose.
How far was proposed? Was that back at Philadelphia Alley? Mm-hmm. And I like founder as well. Because Charles Pinckney, the nephew, is actually considered one of the founders of Charleston. And he obviously signed the Constitution, and he's buried across the street. So I'm actually pretty happy with that too. All right, so let's crowd in a little bit more because again, the other tours like to just cut through this little gateway over here. So I'm going to tell you about why they're all going over to that cemetery first, just because you guys are probably all wondering why I don't follow what the other tours do. But we heard the term baby girl, and we have the word kid on there. So not sure that the kid would have been used in the late 1800s from this story, but we're going to go with that anyway. So they're all going to the other side of St. Philip's Cemetery. The other side for us is on the other side of this wall. So there's two sides on purpose. In the event that someone dies and they're native to Charleston, they go to the other side by the church. That's the graveyard. This is the cemetery. So just think of the yard goes to the back of the house. So with that said, both Charles Pinckney, the husband, and the nephew are buried across the street because they're from Charleston. They were born here. John Calhoun, your 7th Vice President, is buried on the other side of this wall because he's not from here. He just lived here for a very long time. So again, that's why he's over here. They actually shuffled his ass back and forth trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. So it turns out he's not from here. He just lived here since he was a child. But they're all going over there because there's a sign inside the gate. And I don't know if you've seen it when you were walking around. It says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." So there's a reason for it. 1888, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. I stop on her name because of initials. Again, it's cheesy, it's corny, but it shows up all the time. And we actually got her initials on the envoy last night. So SHH. Very cheesy. I hate it, but it shows up. I can't help but tell it to you. But anyway, she died 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story for her, but in 1987, 99 years later, a local photographer is taking photographs, putting a book together, and he captures a full apparition. So we don't go over there because I let the other ghost tours have it. It's their one show and tell. You guys are working with all this crazy gadgetry. So again, we don't take up the 20 people going over there every 5 minutes. I am going to show you the photograph. The weird thing about the photo is that this photographer took it to Kodak because he didn't know what to do with it because he didn't have the tech that we have now, right? So it's 1987. Kodak didn't even know what to do with this photograph. So for guys like me, this thing is gold. It is cursed to females. I know it's mainly females in this group tonight. The only thing I'm going to ask is you don't touch the tablet when I'm going around the room. Reason being is if you handle it, even in a digital format, it is going to have the same effect of the things we talked about at the beginning. The headache, the nausea, the dizziness. Pregnant females, oh, you're already getting it. Look, she stumbled. Pregnant females probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the stillborn child from the story. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation, touched my tablet, and now I cursed your family 9 months later.
Oh, no.
So again, don't touch the tablets. So when I bring this photograph up, I'll zoom in on the actual apparition so you can see the detail of it because it is in detail. It is pretty crazy stuff, actually.
What happens if you touch it though?
I handle it every night. I'm touching it right now.
Yeah,
It's right there.
just for women.
So this is, I'll do like 2 to 3 people at a time. This is the full photograph. Here's your apparition. You're looking at her back, head, baby basket next to her. This is Sue's grave. This is another instance where the baby is probably buried with the mother. So
I heard the word Bella.
I don't know who Bella is. It's actually,
So that's her grave right behind?
right. This headstone right here is her grave. Shoulders, head, baby basket next to her.
Oh, wow.
Even when you zoom in with a computer a little bit further, you can
Yeah.
see the weaving of the basket. Like it's pretty
Oh yeah.
detailed.
What?
Reset. Reset. That's the thing.
I'm button.
Okay, so shut that off. For now.
It's weird because every time I aim, it's off.
Baby basket next to her.
It's so weird because every time I aim at it, it started going off.
It's because you're moving so fast.
Do not.
Yeah, she's good. I got this. All right. So I keep my distance. But that is the exact reason why all of those tours go over there. They elaborate the story a little bit further, of course. I'm actually researching and trying to find the census records of where they actually lived. And of course, it's underneath her husband's name, but those census records are destroyed from one of our fires that we've had down here. So it has been a kind of a battle trying to go through all of these different city records, trying to find out where they actually lived. Yeah, again, I can't just take it as at face value. I got to dive in further. I've even dove into the church records because, again, I already told you I went through the St. Philip's records looking for baby George from the Pinckney family, but I was trying to find the name or gender of Sue's baby, but I can't find it. By the way, in the event, because we did hear baby girl, and I give you a link, if the photo is in the link, I will put warning cursed photo. You guys have to imagine, I do this for a living, and I take it very seriously, so don't click the link, even on your phones. It's the same principle. So, yes, definitely curse the females. We're here because...
So you're saying what now? Say it again, I'm sorry.
So, if, like, we have baby girl, and I have a few links about
She
that.
heard the baby girl?
Right, so because I have to explain what that means
Right.
based on where we were,
Right.
at times, if it's something relative to the photograph, I'll put the link to the photograph, but put warning cursed photo. So that way you don't accidentally open it on your phone going, oh, wow, I want to see what the photograph looks like. And now you're handling it, and all of a sudden you start to get headaches, nausea, any of those symptoms. Again, it's more of a,
So don't open it if it
don't
says
open
that.
it. If it just has her name, I'll still put a link in there to tell you the story of it. So some links don't always show the
But if it
photograph.
has a photo, don't open it.
I'll put warning.
Okay.
Fair? All right. So we're actually here. Yeah. Because of that little building over there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, they're basically turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, which we have not, you can turn those turnbuckles, and it's supposed to straighten and tighten the building back up to help it resist any of the damage. Yes, Susan, it is a very weird thing, but it also doesn't work. So you guys have actually been looking at earthquake bolts all over town. You just didn't realize it. They're in the shape of pineapples and lion heads and all kinds of stuff. It's just part of our Charleston charm. Even the apartment building, that brick building behind it, does have earthquake bolts on both sides, so it actually intertwines. Very interesting the way they actually put these buildings together. The reason I bring these up is because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. Why? It's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here because of the time frame that this building was being built, is when Anne Bonny arrived to Charlestown to start her pirate career. So, we talked about the Charlestown Wall earlier as well when we were back at Lodge Alley. You guys all remember that? Yeah. That building, that garage, is where the wall stood. It went up Cumberland Street, past the powder magazine, and started going south towards the battery, putting the gunpowder magazine into the corners of the walls on purpose. If it gets attacked from a pirate ship or Revolutionary warship 3 blocks away, first off, it's going to have a hard time making it this far. Second, those walls are 32 inches thick. That cannonball is going to have a hard time penetrating the wall. We're going to pretend that it does and goes through it and blows up the gunpowder. There's sand in the roof that was put there during construction in the early 1700s that's supposed to go up with the explosion and fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder if it ever gets penetrated and blows up. Another great idea, but that doesn't work either. We know this because we had another powder magazine closer to the battery, much closer to the water. It did get attacked. Sand went up, the building burned to the ground. Very simple. Doesn't exist anymore. This one, it served 7 wars and 1 rebellion and has never been attacked. So that's why it still stands here. It is a museum now. If you ever need to get out our heat or cold, spend the $5, go check it out. Even the inner workings of the architecture is very unique. So again, if you're into old war uniforms, it's a pretty cool little tour. I'm not an advocate for them, I just love the building. So, which is why I didn't really believe in this story to begin with, because I'd been here so many times and never caught anything. So, here's what's going on. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government, 10 years, small building? No, not at all. I'm going to answer for you. Our story begins right in the middle of its construction. So 1703 to 1713 is the construction. 1708 is where the story begins. Follow me, there's a lot of twists here. I'll slow down on the twist to make sure we're all on the same page. Young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Yep. The 3 of them are running away from his wife.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. How angry was she that she got to leave Ireland to come here in 1708 by boat? Man, those are some bright lights. So, they land in Georgetown, just between us and Myrtle Beach area. Dad bought a plantation, Mom died pretty quickly, which means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat. Anne back home in Ireland, kind of a badass chick. When she was only like 10 or 12 years old, it's kind of speculated, she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. Like, again, just want to put that mentality of this young lady as we go through the rest of her story. Fast forward. Building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Sorry, you guys have really made me talk a lot tonight. I'm going to take a quick drink. I'm getting a little chalked up. It's weird, it's not very humid out. Normally I get like that when it's very humid. So, where was I?
1715.
1715. Pirates are coming through town, right? She falls in love pretty quickly. So, guy number 1. Yes, there's going to be a tally. There's a handful. Guy number 1 is James Bonney. You already kind of see where this one's going, right? Because we already know her name was Anne Bonney. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonney, the famous female pirate. However, this is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward in her eyes. So she falls in love again a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the person they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So, he is the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. He has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of it. Can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why?
Nope. Bad luck at sea.
Right. They are bad luck on the ship.
Oh, no.
So, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, I'm a pirate, let's go. Now, let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and then they're going to get rid of Jack. They're going to vote him off. He drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here. We'll figure it out later when you come back. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no child. We have no idea what happened to the child. We don't know the gender, name, nothing. None of the research I found can find anything relative to that. However, she's dressed like a girl when she comes back. This makes Jack pretty angry, because now everybody's going to find out that he let a girl on the ship. And while she was away giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting to make him even more mad, because that's what Anne does. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females trying to be pirates on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for sure. But the British find out where they are, and they send a fleet of ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. And it's probably because they don't know how to use the cannon yet. That's a speculation, not a fact. However, they're going to get taken. You can't have two ladies taken on a fleet of ships and expect them to win. So as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot, by the way. The judge wants to see the two men that fought back so valiantly on their own after he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. So, by the way, the judge's name is the same as mine, so if you get the name Nick here, it's relative in one of three ways. It's very weird. But anyway, they go in front, they reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies" was the last thing they screamed out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area. He has all of his Irish money because he was an attorney back home. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4 says, "We're going to count Mary Reed because we're not really sure." So she has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt. However, Mary Reed, she died a year later in that Jamaican jail, 1721, from whatever pirates died from in that Jamaican jail. Most articles will tell you that it was fever, but it was more than likely some kind of scurvious bumpiness that was whatever. Use your imaginations. I'm sure it was nasty. You just don't die in a jail because you have fever. However, I left out 2 things here. You guys have been a fantastic group, by the way. This is our last stop, so everybody knows. So we're going to do a big hurrah. I only have 2 questions for you of things that we can actually prove. Everything else is going to be fair game. We never know what occurs in this location. The 2 questions I left out are the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and his mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So, 2 very unique questions. I'm going to steer you guys for 1 more minute. I know we've been at this corner for a long time, but we're going to spread out quite far once I release you. There's a reason why I give you that heated warning at the beginning of the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. Back in September of last year, it was a nice cool night, probably a little bit cooler than where we are now, probably lower 70s. The kid next to me goes white as a ghost, literally, and starts to drop. I have to pick him up by his armpit. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side of him. We get him over to that wall over there by the powder magazine because there's a ledge where he can sit. I get him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then tell the story. It's important to know that they don't know what you guys now know about Anne Bonny. After I spread everybody out, the 2 gentlemen pull me aside and say, "Nick, we got to tell you, we are 2 transgender males," meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, and it made complete sense as to why one of them nearly passed out the minute we entered the space. So, it freaks some people out, but again, these are the weird things that I see, and I can't explain them, other than the fact of where it could have tied. And we actually had a pretty good night as far as evidence that night as well, if I recall. So things were going on. So again, those are the real reasons why I give those heated warnings. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site, and especially since the high readings of EMF that we get in that location. We didn't get those tonight, so that was actually, Travis, what I was telling you, if you see any triple digits. Okay. The highest I've ever seen that device go is at the Pinckney Mansion site at 214 milligauss. Wow. That's like putting your head inside a microwave that's running. Like, that's how dangerous it is. We left that night. I have seizures and epilepsy. I can't be around that kind of high EMF. But psychics, they drop like a wet noodle. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. However, those of you with cameras, you get to venture out a little bit. You can go over to the other side and check out the Sue Howard Hardy site with the sign if you'd like. The only thing I ask is that you do not interrupt the other tours. We are in a space where there are vehicles. Again, kind of the rules apply with the cameras there as well. You can also go and check out the front of the powder magazine. So that means you have to exit the lot and go in front of the bushes. Again, other tours like to stop in the front. Just don't interrupt. Have some fun with it. Lasers are safe to go in here. So again, that's all on you. So if you go into the front, just make sure your lasers stay on the front lawn and not actually up on the building. Okay. So, but again, people are going to be looking at us pretty weird because you're going to see other tours coming through here. Some of the other tour guides, I've been doing this for 3 years and I still haven't caught on to what the hell I'm doing out here. So again, I don't have a whole lot of friends in this industry. Taking a lot of business from them. But again, we are going to spread out and have some fun. I'm actually going to go kind of chill by the wall and wait for you guys to start coming to me. Give it 5 minutes. If you don't hear or see anything relevant, just come back to the wall. Last night I had to gather people up after 20 minutes. They were all over the town. I'm like, guys, you got a couple $1,000s on my gear. Let's get back to the wall. So again, give it like 5-7 minutes and then I'll be over there by the wall and you guys can come tell me what you've heard. So with yours.
Did you write down what I had last time?
Where at?
The 21.
At the Pinckney Mansion site?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Okay.
With yours, you're going to use the motion sensor in here because these colors and your numbers are probably not going to give us anything. So you're all about the pictures at this place, but you can ask Anne Bonny what her hair color is and hopefully she's going to show you. She showed us last night. So again, pull up that antenna, hit the white button in the back and ask for her hair color. and see if she'll tell you what color her hair
Do you
is.
just want to do it right now to see what it is?
Do it.
Okay.
I already know what the answer is. I want to see if you can find out what
Subtle
the answer
movements, though. Be subtle about it.
is. Lucy, no lasers
What?
on the street, just so you know.
What color is your hair?
Do you have stuff that popped up, Jocelyn?
Before we start talking about the pirate,
And what color is your hair?
Yeah. Cash over there.
What was her name again?
And
And what? And what was
Kind of gathered that.
your hair? Sorry.
oh, you're fine.
Come on, Lil. You just left me.
How's your recording going? Is it still going?
Yep, still going.
Good deal. When's the last time you paused it?
When we were, well, it's been running this whole time that we got in this parking lot.
Probably stop it and start a new one.
Okay.
Again, that thing could be finicky, and that's even the upgraded FLIR. The old one I had, like, it was horrible. It would stop all the time.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and the other camera that I use too, like, that's a new upgrade. Like, that thing's phenomenal. Love that damn
Yeah,
camera.
this is pretty cool. It's probably pretty expensive, I bet.
Oh, it's all expensive.
Yeah, it's true.
It's all expensive. You can't argue about that.
Was hers orange?
No.
I got orange, blue, and green.
I also see it moving around. I'm gonna write down the orange. So is this what you guys were hoping for?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. I've never used stuff.
Yeah, I like learning about all this stuff. We lived where we lived. It was upstate New York in Plattsburgh, and they had the Revolutionary War and the Battle of Plattsburgh there. And there's a lot of history there, but they don't really talk about it like they do here, which is weird. Did he say we could go on the other side?
What?
Did he say we could go on the other side of that?
I think he said we could. He said we could go in the front of it.
Of this?
Of that place, I think.
never realized that's what those are for.
I didn't know that either.
I've never heard of that.
So it's not a thing related, right?
No.
They just thought it worked.
Yeah. But there must be a big bolt that runs from the other side that squeezes it together, you know?
Anything? I'm staying right here. Look at
913.
913?
913.
It so a ghost keeps going around me because I'll go like that and then they'll think I'm gonna turn so they run in.
Keeps getting a blue reading.
Huh. I'll put the thermal on you for a bit and see if...
Yeah.
He was over there and it was just being fast. Yeah, it was just going like it just kept going.
Well, I turned it off and turned it back on, but it wasn't really giving anything. I'm pretty sure which the numbers are not 0, 8, 9, and 6.
Oh, wait, what do we got?
Something here.
It went to purple.
Purple, that's the highest reading you can get. There's something here. There's something here. Anything?
Nothing that I noticed, but I may not, you know, I'm not familiar with what would be an indication.
So that was Eliza's
Husband, and then she had kids with her only husband, and then the son, Charles, I'm sorry, the nephew Charles is also married.
Okay.
So very interesting.
913, Shelly and Jack.
You two got anything going on over there?
Dad.
Nothing.
1973.
There's something in front of me. Come look at this. Oh. Look at. Yeah, it just went to purple and red like 3 times.
It's right there in that area.
They did get a direct answer.
Yeah.
And that is like they have to touch the instrument. Like that's the only way to get that type of reading. Go ahead and reset it.
I've been resetting it every time.
No, I don't. Nothing that stands out to me. But
Have you seen any cold spots?
I usually look for like movement of like color, like when it gets like a darker color. But I haven't seen any of that.
Where's the other EMF detector? So, DONESSA, can I see yours? I just want to kind of test the area around us right now.
Oh, guys like you.
There's nothing going on over here.
Nothing.
I've got no other indication. So he's got something influencing his antenna right now. It's obviously not me. Click the reset. It's about had every color on there. So what sucks is the camera that would probably capture what's going on right now is dead.
Oh no.
Yeah, the camera is full. It's not supposed to be full. This is just another weird instance. I'm hoping that the people that are in this, coming for this car, aren't going to be walking here soon, just watching us standing around with a bunch of cameras and
Right.
lights. But that's a little nuts. There's a
that is
red.
crazy.
Another.
That's
Yeah. I've heard Christian twice.
You're by the church. It happens
Christian?
often. We do get a lot of religious terms over here.
Christian. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we can sit here and watch the blinky lights all night long, but let's head over to that wall because I feel bad that the girls' devices are pretty much out of the game.
Oh, it's all red now. It's just turning red. It's all it's doing is red and purple, red and purple.
Yeah, it is.
There's nothing. There's nothing.
Those can work independently. You can have colors and no numbers because of 2 different styles of EMF being measured.
Oh,
Look
gotcha.
at it. It's just going back and forth between red and blue.
Wow. The thing is going nuts.
The bottom of the wall is always going to be colder, so that blue light is blue dot. Right.
Like this is just. I'm resetting it.
Like nothing
This
is
thing's
landing
going
right on
crazy right here.
No.
She heard whistling.
I hope nobody has to walk to their car today. Am I gonna get yoinked by something?
I just heard unleashing the taxes. I've heard a lot about taxes here.
Unleashing the taxes.
And I heard the
Yeah,
British.
the taxes are getting unleashed on 87,000 IRS agents.
A couple.
It's fully red now.
I know. I've been hearing it. Come over this way with it.
Also had something on there like officer, something like that.
Yes, as officer, fund, volunteer, force, legislature, officer, videos, Japanese stuff, counter.
Don't go too far, Kason.
Yeah, Kason, come on in, buddy.
Kason. Kason.
I don't want a car to
I think
fly
he wants
in
to
and
get a job. I think I'm taking him home to train him.
I know, right? You might have an assistant here.
Keeps getting closer and closer.
Might make my daughter jealous. I'm surprised she didn't come with us tonight.
I
She
was
wanted to chill at home
19.
tonight.
I was about to hit almost 25.
Turn it down for now.
The closer we get to the bushes, just so everybody knows, we will get those higher readings because of the parking meters. So I am stoked that he had every single color. I'm not stoked that the camera that Lily was using, that is supposed to hold 2 hours and 44 minutes exactly of footage, died because the memory was full. I know I formatted that card as I was cleaning the devices because that's my routine. I do it every day. So again, if I made a mistake or it didn't format properly, of course I'm not going to count it as something paranormal, but the cameras do love to act up in here. The fact that Travis was filming all of the flickering lights, I'm hoping to find a 15-degree cold difference between where the blue dot would be and hopefully something going on with Kason's device. So I'm excited that the name Bonnie was heard. I'm excited that the name Jack was heard. So those are all obviously relevant. Somebody also heard a religious phrase, Christian or something along those lines.
Christian too.
We do get a lot of religious terms over here, and you'll notice like we don't start getting them until Philadelphia Alley forward. You can go to any tour on my website because I do keep it up there for a year. But that's usually the common thing that occurs as we get closer to St. Philip's. So again, I do count it as a piece of evidence because it does occur. We'll get preacher, Bible, all kinds of religious stuff. So those are the things I'm excited about. What these years are, I have no idea. I'm going to do a little bit of digging to see. They're all kind of weird and all over the place. So I'm not going to dive too deep. I'm just going to scratch the surface and see what I can find based on the resources that I have. Let me give you the answers to the couple of simple questions that I did give you guys for this location. This has been an amazing group, by the way. I don't always have this, like where everybody's like fully involved and fully engaged. Even Lucy like jumped in and was having a conversation with me. So you'll hear our conversation along the way. Like she hung out with me in between spaces in case you guys didn't notice. So I have the audio, so you're gonna hear what we were chatting about. So, you didn't know you were being recorded, did you? So, Ann Bonnie. This is one of the few pictures you can find of her with a shirt on, by the way.
Oh no.
Obviously, you can see why.
lady.
Because she used to bare her breast to show the men that she just killed that they were just killed by a woman. Told you, she's kind of a badass chick.
She is.
Wow.
That's
Her hair
exciting.
color is red, as I'm sure you guys can see. We did get a direct answer of red on Kason's device. The only time I've ever seen red on that is when we actually asked for her hair color.
Wow, she
So,
looks
yeah.
like she's really tough.
Well, this is one depiction of her.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a million different depictions of Anne Bonny. I had to find one, so I wasn't going to anger moms because I do get a lot of teenage boys on this tour. So I'm like, what's poking me? I don't need an angry mom walking away. However, names of her parents: William Cormac, Mary Brennan. None of you were expecting a secondary Mary. We have Mary Reed, the friend/lover, and then we have Mary Brennan, the mom, which is part of the reason why I give that to you guys, because you're not expecting it. So again,
French?
Did you say French?
no. Oh, did you get French?
I got French earlier.
Well, France came up at the Pinckney Mansion site because it was a French ambassador, one of the Pinckney sons.
But it was like over here.
You heard it over here too? So this also served the French and Indian War. Sorry, I had to make sure I had the correct name, because we will get the term Indian here and the term French. Sometimes it's in the same night, not always. And of course, I'll give you the list of which wars it served in. Kind of give you that information. So I'll make sure I don't have to write it down because yours showed up. I'll have to write down yours because that's the second time you've heard France. Something must be going on in France in the news, and they're just grabbing it and throwing us at the right times. I also like to show you Calico Jack. Why? Because this is the guy that they based Captain Jack Sparrow off of. So the name Calico Jack, and he's dubbed the nickname Calico Jack because of the jackets that he wore. They were stolen from the British captains that he killed. So fancy jacket, Calico Jack. You guys get where the name comes from now. So his real name was John. The first time that we really started diving into him was somebody heard the term rack of ham during a holiday time, like Thanksgiving, on the radio, and I had no idea what it meant until I looked at it the next day and went, that means rack-em, rack of ham, because that's exactly how it's spelled. So we had the name John, and rack of ham showed up, all in the same night. So again, it's probably the only way you can show us his name. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect Kingston to show up unless it's on the new Ouija board device and or the one that Leanne has. So with that one picks up more disembodied voices, but the word king on any other device would suffice for me as an acceptable answer. None of you gave it to me. It is actually a hard question to come across the actual answer. The second or third night that I was using Leanne's device, I'm collecting devices like I'm about to do, and the person handed it back to me, and it was quiet as all can be, and the word pirate came out plain as day. Not like part of a sentence like, the Pittsburgh Pirates won the game. It was more like, pirate, and then it went right back to static. So, again, these are things I can't explain. It is what it is. We took it, and the cool thing is because that device doesn't record, that person was standing right next to the thermal imaging camera, so they have the audio from the camera for the pirate, and we all heard it in real time anyway. But it was a matter of like, here's the actual proof. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to start collecting your devices. I'm going to get these devices home so I can start uploading all of your data. I'm normally done between 12 and 1. So again, I get up first cup of coffee. I'm listening to the spirit box that Susan has. So that's my first cup of coffee. I got to listen to white noise for about 45 minutes to an hour so I can spot check it and see what I find. And again, as I kind of go through this, it normally takes me up till noon, but sometimes I have to research a little bit further, so that don't freak out if you don't get it by noon or 1. You're all going to be doing vacation things anyway. I am going to get, as I start collecting these, I'm going to pass out my card. I'll just hand a stack over, and you guys can pass them around, take whatever you want. It has my email, my phone number, and the website. Keep in mind, cemetery is misspelled. But this was a lot of fun with you guys, and again, I don't always have this, so it's very much appreciated when I have everybody that's involved. Did I have any skeptics in here tonight, by the way? I didn't think like I did.
I believe in ghosts. So.
I do.
I went to Savannah and see.
Yeah, Savannah's covered in it too.
Oh yeah.
I almost just want to turn on my radio to see if it keeps happening. Because what if it's like following me?
Cards, just give them back to me. Don't take more than you need to.
I need to get one
I
of
don't
these.
care how many you take, but don't
Gadgets.
access it if you don't want to. 97 terms came out, just so you guys know. Oh, I'm going to stop your audio, just so I can kind of get a gist on how much data you're going to get back. It's going to be weird because of the camera that Lily and Lucy were working with, because it stopped moving. So 2 hours and 15 minutes here. Obviously, I don't time this. It's a matter of whatever happens, it happens. So you're definitely going to have about 8 to 9 hours total worth of data. And that's usually my guesstimate. Not to mention all the reading I'm going to give you. Again, I told some of you already, you're going to have about a 15-hour workday ahead of you. I'm giving you a lot.
Oh wait, I took a couple.
So again, I'm going to go through it between 2 to 3 hours,
Yeah, we
see
can
what I see,
keep that one.
and then it's up to you guys to find the rest.
There you go.
It just.
All right, next devices.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. You're welcome.
Get this.
Oh, I thought you had one of these. Oh, we only need one really.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah, that's
I can
fine.
pass that down.
Okay.
How many pictures you take? Couple hundred?
You told me to. I'm sure not.
Just keep it decent.
Yeah, we're only.
You missed the time. I still can't believe it keeps doing. It's like the ghost is following following me almost. Watch. As soon as I turn it on, it's just gonna go.
Alright, where did I leave off with devices? So I'll take yours, because it's going to drive you mad. Guess what's going to be underneath the Christmas tree this year, guys?
I know, right?